Can you go ahead and turn around for me really quick? I'm just gonna detain you and put you in handcuffs, okay?
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious, yes ma'am.
Why?
Please.
This is the moment a woman steps outside her apartment to silence a noisy garbage truck and ends up in handcuffs before she can even put her shoes on. The incident takes place on August 12th, 2025, in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. A call comes in. A report of a battery. Officers respond and arrive to find two people involved in a dispute outside an apartment complex. On one side, a garbage truck driver. On the other, a woman who lives in the building above. Officers separate them and begin asking questions. The woman explains what happened. She says she was upstairs in her apartment, trying to work. She had a phone call coming in. And the noise from the garbage truck just kept going and going and going. The truck wasn't moving. It wasn't in the middle of a job. It was just sitting there, running, making noise. So she stepped out onto her balcony and asked the driver to make it stop. He dismissed her. She came downstairs. She asked again, "Can you please make the noise stop?" He told her to get out of there. So she walked over to the truck herself. She says she didn't get inside the vehicle. She stepped up onto the side of it, reached in, and turned the key one notch to shut off the noise. That's when everything went wrong. The driver grabbed her by the arm and pulled her down off the truck. He held on tight. She says she pushed him in the chest to get him off of her. And then he punched her in the face. She called the police. She thought she was the victim. She had no idea what was about to happen next. When the officer finishes listening to her side of the story, he doesn't say, "Okay, let's go talk to him." He doesn't say, "Let me get both sides before I make any decisions." Instead, he tells her to turn around. He tells her he's going to put her in handcuffs. She is stunned. She asks if he's serious. He tells her, dead serious. She asks why. He explains that he is alone on scene. She admitted to pushing the driver, and he needs to detain her while he continues the investigation. She can't believe what she's hearing. She's the one who got punched in the face. She's the one who called the police. And now she's the one standing on hot pavement in bare feet with her hands behind her back. While officers place her in handcuffs, she keeps repeating the same thing. He punched me in the face. He punched me in the face. He punched me in the face. But the officer isn't finished sorting through what happened. He walks over to get the driver's side of the story. The driver confirms the basics. He says she reached into his truck. He says he pulled her down off of it. He says she pushed him in the chest. He denies punching her. Meanwhile, back with the woman, a second officer continues the conversation. He asks her a question that clearly catches her off guard. What gave her the right to reach into someone else's vehicle? She says she just wanted the noise to stop. She says she wasn't vandalizing anything. She says she didn't get into the truck. She just reached in and turned a knob. The officer doesn't see it that way. He tells her what she did is considered trespassing. She pushes back immediately. She says she lives there. She says it's not trespassing if you live in the building. The officer explains, trespassing doesn't mean entering someone's home. It means entering any property you don't have permission to be in. She reached into a work vehicle without the driver's consent. Under Florida state statute, that's trespassing. She tells him she thinks that's dramatic. She tells him she doesn't see it that way. He tells her it doesn't matter how she sees it. That's how the law sees it. She's not hearing it. She keeps coming back to the same point. He punched me in the face. Why is nothing happening to him? At one point, she looks over and notices one of the officers laughing near the driver. She snaps. She accuses them of taking his side. She tells them she has never been punched in the face in her life. She tells them she has 2 dogs upstairs. She says she needs to use the bathroom. She says she needs to call work. She is overwhelmed. And in the middle of all of it, she's still standing outside in bare feet. No shoes. She walked out of her apartment in such a hurry that she never had a chance to put them on. The officers try to keep her calm. One of them acknowledges that the situation is a lot. He tells her they can help her make arrangements for her dogs. He offers to go upstairs with her so she can get things sorted before they transport her. She's frustrated, but she accepts. After returning upstairs to take care of her dogs, she is transported to the Palm Beach Gardens Police Department for processing. She would be charged with battery. Not the driver, her, the woman who called the police. Because at the end of the day, it didn't matter that the truck was loud. It didn't matter that she was trying to work. It didn't matter that she felt ignored and dismissed. The moment she stepped onto that truck and reached inside without permission, she crossed a legal line. And the moment she pushed that driver, even while trying to get free, she gave officers exactly what they needed to justify an arrest. What started as a noise complaint from a frustrated woman trying to get on a phone call ended with a battery charge, a ride to the police station, and a lesson about the limits of taking matters into your own hands. This is the moment a woman tries to enter a packed concert venue in Tampa, Florida, and ends up getting arrested over a bag policy. The incident happens outside a Chris Brown concert on August 2nd. As crowds move through security checkpoints and ticket scanners, venue staff stop a woman near the entrance gates. Security tells her there's a problem with her bag. The bag she's carrying violates the venue's policy because it's too large and not clear. Instead of immediately removing her, officers initially try to keep the situation calm. They repeatedly ask her to step to the side so they can explain the policy away from the busy entrance. But she refuses to fully cooperate. She keeps asking the same question over and over. What's the policy? Officers explain that the venue only allows small, clear bags for safety and security reasons. But the woman argues that she doesn't have a car and uses the bag to carry all of her belongings. As people continue walking into the concert behind her, officers keep trying to redirect her away from the restricted entry area. One officer tells her clearly, if she continues walking farther into the venue, she could be arrested for trespassing. Even after the warning, she continues moving deeper inside. At one point, she heads toward the escalators leading farther into the arena. The officer follows closely behind her, repeatedly telling her to stop and go back toward the gate. Meanwhile, loud arena announcements echo through the building as concertgoers move around them. The woman continues questioning the policy while ignoring repeated commands to leave the restricted area. The officer explains again that the venue's rules are not optional. The bag is too large. It's not clear. And she cannot enter with it. As the officer lightly guides her away from the escalator area, she becomes more upset. She accuses him of putting his hands on her multiple times. Officers still attempt to avoid escalating the situation. They continue giving verbal commands instead of immediately arresting her. But she keeps walking away from them and refusing to comply. Finally, after several warnings, the officer stops her again near the escalator entrance. He tells her one last time to stop. Instead, she pulls away and continues arguing. That's when the officer makes the decision to arrest her. He grabs her arm and tells her she is under arrest for trespassing. She immediately reacts in frustration, yelling about her makeup and insisting the situation is unnecessary. Officers then begin escorting her away from the public entrance area and toward the security office. As she's being walked away, arena announcements continue playing in the background while crowds nearby watch the incident unfold. According to reports, she was later charged with trespassing and resisting without violence. Court records later showed an attempt was made to place her into a misdemeanor intervention program. However, prosecutors rejected the request. Later, even her own attorney withdrew from the case due to disagreements with the defendant. And as of the release of the footage, the case was still ongoing. What started as a disagreement over a concert bag policy ended with the woman being denied entry, arrested inside the venue, and facing criminal charges. This is the moment officers respond to a call about a possible drunk driver. a woman behind the wheel, a child in the back seat, and a situation that would quickly unravel in front of police cameras. The incident takes place on September 15, 2024, somewhere in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. A call comes in. Someone has spotted a driver on the road behaving erratically. Officers are dispatched to investigate. When they arrive, they find a woman sitting alone in a parked vehicle. She appears calm at first. She tells the officers she's simply waiting for her father. Nothing seems unusual on the surface. But as the officers get closer to the car, they start noticing things that don't add up. The vehicle has damage on it. Visible damage. A flat tire. Scrapes and dents along the body of the car. One officer asks her directly, "Do you know your car has damage on it?" She says yes. She already knows. She says it happened 2 or 3 weeks ago. She blames her baby's father. The officer follows up. How long has she been driving the car like this? She says every day. Every single day, with a flat tire and visible body damage. And she claims she never noticed a problem. The officers aren't fully convinced, but they continue the conversation. Then, one of the officers looks into the back seat. There's a child in the car. A young boy, sitting quietly in the back while police surround the vehicle. The officers ask her how many kids she has with her. She says just one. They ask her to step out of the car so they can talk. She agrees. But almost immediately, things start getting more complicated. The boy gets out of the car too. Officers try to keep him calm and redirect him back inside the vehicle. As the woman stands outside the car, the officers press her again on the damage. She doubles down. It was her baby's father. It had nothing to do with her. But one of the officers isn't focused on the damage anymore. Something else has caught his attention. The way she's standing, the way she's speaking, the way she's carrying herself. And then, the child starts talking. Unprompted, the boy begins telling the officers what happened. He says his mom drove over a curb. He says she went over the yellow thing. He says that's how she got the flat tires. The officers listen carefully. A child just told them more in 30 seconds than the woman had in the entire conversation. And it gets worse. One of the officers gets close enough to look inside the vehicle. The driver's seat is a mess. She had thrown up all over it. To-go bags are visible in the car. It looks like they had just come from dinner, a night out. And now here they are, pulled over on the side of the road, with a damaged car, a sick driver, and a child caught in the middle. At this point, the officers have seen enough. They run her license. They pull out their standardized field sobriety testing sheets. And one officer tells her directly, he's switching hats. He explains that based on his suspicion, they're going to conduct a series of tasks. Standard procedure when an officer suspects someone is driving under the influence. He asks her if she's willing to participate. She says no. She refuses immediately. She doesn't want to do any of the tasks. The officer reminds her, it's her choice. She has the right to decline. She declines anyway. So they move on. They ask her where she's coming from. She says she just wants to go home. She says she just wants to get to her dad's house. She says she just wants her boy to be unaffected by all of this. She's emotional now, clearly distressed. She keeps repeating the same thing over and over. She just wants her baby. She just wants things to be okay. But the officers still have a job to do. They ask her a simple question. Do you know where you are right now? She says Coral Springs. She says Broward County. She is standing in Fort Lauderdale. She has no idea where she is. That answer, more than anything else, tells the officers everything they need to know. The decision is made. Officers inform her she is being placed under arrest on suspicion of driving under the influence. She doesn't fight it physically. But emotionally, she breaks down. She keeps asking about her son. She keeps saying she just wants her baby. Officers try to keep her calm as they prepare to take her into custody. They tell her the car will be taken care of. They tell her everything will be handled. One officer conducts a search before placing her in handcuffs. She cooperates. She tells them she has nothing to hide. But it doesn't change what's about to happen. As officers walk her away from the vehicle, her son watches nearby. A child, who moments earlier was the one telling police the truth about what happened that night. According to records, the woman was charged with driving under the influence. She was also charged with child neglect. Because at the end of the day, it wasn't just her life she put at risk that night. It was her child's. A little boy who got in the car and trusted his mom to get him home safely. What started as a routine call about a possible drunk driver on the road ended with a mother in handcuffs, a child in the care of others, and a reminder of just how quickly one decision, one night, can change everything.